What's up everybody, welcome back to Low Luxury, the channel where I show you what authentic luxury clothing and streetwear looks like. I'm here to talk about some really cool clothes, you guys. Whew, we got a doozy today. Today we are going to be taking a look at a piece from the Fall 2019 Prada collection. Yes, and it is an absolute heater. This was like the Frankenstein collection that Miuccia did, and this is what we got. I don't know if you can tell what that is, but that's a sweater, and it's a wild one. It's mohair. It's got hairy ass shoulders. This is like a true runway piece if I have ever seen one, and it really represents one of, I think, the last times, at least for the foreseeable future, that we get to see Miuccia in like her unadulterated form, because now she's doing it with Raf, and I love the modern Prada. I love what Raf Simons brings to the house, but like, you gotta appreciate just some pure Prada shot into the veins, and that is what this sweater is. So without further ado, let's check this thing out. Yo, before we get too much further, subscribe to the channel. I make tons of luxury and streetwear content, and also, if you're looking for deals on luxury and streetwear, check the description. I've got some of the best sites with all authentic stuff. Check it out. All right, you know what? This piece, it was shipped, and those shoulders are not nearly fluffed enough. Those shoulders gotta be fluffed, all right? Give me a second, you guys. All right, there we go. Now that's how you fluff a shoulder, my friends. What, you've never fluffed a sweater shoulder before? Have you ever even lived? Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's start off by taking a look at the retail tags that come with a piece like this. So first things first, we get a little kind of envelope here, and right on the front there, debossed, so those letters go inwards, you've got the Prada logo. And you can see that, I don't know, the envelope itself is like a very dark navy, or kind of like faded black, I guess. But then the logo is like a true black. You can see the contrast there. The back of this is still closed. Inside, I believe I feel some extra thread in case you ever need to repair this. I'm not going to break that sticker though, so you'll just have to take my word for it. And here is the retail sticker. So right across the top, you get a gray bar with the Prada logo in black, nice and centered. Underneath that, you get the model name, I'm assuming. So Scolo AV. I'm not sure, I don't know Italian, but, you know, probably means something. Off to the right of that, you get size. So that's Italian sizing, 46. And we will be talking about sizing later and how it fits, stuff like that. But for now, just know that generally an Italian 46 is like a US small. We get a model number, UMA146. That's super helpful. Even this one, where it's even longer down here, is probably the best one. Always Google that stuff, see what shows up, because sometimes that can give you a really good sign of real versus fake. We get our colors, Nero and Cerise. I'm guessing that is black and red, I would hope. Group name, Mohair Fisherma. I'm assuming that's like fisherman. Interesting, I didn't even realize that was kind of the inspiration for this, but I guess I can kind of see it. And then, as discussed earlier, the model number down here. And then those are attached with this navy blue thread, where it's tied right through the brand tag at the back of the neck. Speaking of which, let's take a look at that brand tag now. So this is a nice big tag. It's like a fairly thick rectangle, much kind of taller than I'd say your normal brand tag. And you can see stitched in there in black, so it's like a glossier black, and then more of a pure black underneath. Once again, you get that Prada logo, Prada, and underneath Milano. And on either side of this, you have these kind of diagonal lines going along the top and bottom bordering that text. And this tag is stitched down in all four corners with these horizontal black stitches. And if we turn that inside out, we can see that we get these diagonal lines going all the way through the back there. So that's another really good thing to look at, I think. I bet a lot of fakes are not getting that right. And what do you know? Another always good thing when you've got stuff like this is if it has a retailer's tag or something, so we can see that this came from Glamood. Listen, I'm so fashionable that when I'm feeling like frisky, that's what I say to my girlfriend. I don't say, hey, I'm in the mood. I say, I'm in the glam mood. That's how committed to my fashion lifestyle I am. Anyway, y'all don't want to hear about that. Woof! Didn't read the room there, jeez. Now, let's take a look at the care tags that are inside this bad boy. So as you can see, these are black care tags, and there are a few kind of layers to them there. The first one is like an embroidered tag, very small little loop tag here. And then in gray, you get the size, 46. And again, make sure that that matches what it said the size was on our sticker, if you'll recall. The back of that one's blank. And then we've got another loop tag right here underneath it, and that is a very glossy, black, thick, plasticky tag. And once again, in gray, we get that PRADA logo print. You can see that print is super clean, not faded at all, and if you're getting a new piece, that is how it should be. On the back of that, we once again get that model number, and that matches what was on the tag, which is always a great sign. Then we get a handful of washing symbols, and just 2 bits of washing instructions there. Now underneath that, we get a set of longer tags, and they're also a different material. So these are a matte black kind of plasticky material. You'll see the first thing you get, and these are all printed in gray, like a cut line there with scissors. Then we get our size, which again matches. And then all caps, left justified, made in Italy. Always a good sign. Prada stuff is not going to be like made in China, you know, so if yours says that, that's not a good sign there. Then we get some info in the Asian languages. And this guy's a single tag, so on the back side of that, we get Prada Brazil. And then we get our fabrication. So this is 67% mohair and 30% polyamide. And what would that be? 3% boba? Vilna? Oh god, the languages. Oh no. Okay, the next tag under that helps me out here. 67% mohair, 30% polyamide, 3% wool. Interesting. Very interesting combo there. And that goes in multiple languages here. And they continue on the back of that tag, ending in Russian. And they just keep going in more languages. Good lord, you guys. When will it end? When will it end? Not on this tag, apparently. Keeps going. I think that might be the end of it, because on the next tag, we get a buttload of washing symbols there, and then our washing instructions. And again, going through multiple languages, and I'm guessing we're going to repeat that pattern. Oh, no, I was incorrect. We get a barcode there. Interesting. And then this is the last tag here, where it gets faux fur. 34% cotton, 66% mohair. So it's a different fabrication for the shoulders. Cool. And the back of that one is blank. And you can see that all these tags are stitched in quite cleanly in black here. All right, and now that we've taken care of that, we get to the fun part where we can look at this piece itself and where to begin. I mean, it would be easy to start at the shoulders, but I'm not. I'm just going to dive right in. We're going to start front and center here, because it actually has quite an interesting neckline. So as you see, this is ribbed, and it is a V-neck, a fairly deep one at that as well. And interestingly, this is actually double layered over, and it's already quite a thick piece to begin with, so it's a really heavy neck in a very interesting, considered way, in my opinion. So I do like that. It might be a little hard to see here, but the entire piece has a bit of a almost glossiness to it, and I'm wondering if that's the polyamide or the dye that they used, but it's a really cool effect. And you can see each kind of piece of yarn for this piece is so thick that the cable knitting almost gets a little bit lost, but there is a distinct knit pattern in there. You can see coming down here you've got one, a kind of like braid, and then this chain pattern coming down the front. So there's a bunch of really cool knit elements here outside of those crazy shoulders that the eyes are like immediately drawn to. Both the cuffs and the hem here are also ribbed. And if we take a look at things like the stitching where it does exist, like the hem, it just turns from the cable knitting into the ribbing, but this is a separate piece, the sleeve from the body, but that stitching is essentially invisible. It does help that, you know, the knit is so thick that it does kind of hide those seams, but it's really good stitching. All right, and now I think we can talk about the shoulders. So these patches are just insane. So they start right over here. I'm actually kind of curious. It is a nice straight line under there of this patch, and I'm super curious how these are attached. Are they glued on? Are they sewn in? Are they knitted in? I don't even know how to go about starting to tell that. Maybe let's turn this inside out and see what we got here. So here is the inside of that shoulder, and as you can see, there's no visible red at all, which leads me to believe I'm going to assume that these are sewn on in some way. Again, it's really easy to hide kind of stitches in here. They may have even been stitched in with the yarn of the piece underneath. Well, you can see it goes right into the seam here under the neck. I don't know, I just find it so interesting. And you'll also notice that it really is almost like a wig. Like you get, it's, you know, kind of real hair, just not human hair, and it kind of naturally strands out into these little points. It's super Frankenstein-y, or just like Universal Monster-y in a way, that really worked for this collection. And if you look to the back here, you'll see that they come around quite a bit. So there's that patch here, again, going right underneath the neck, and this one starts off after a fairly small amount of space between, and they come out at an angle kind of along the shoulder blades there, which I think is some great kind of shaping for this piece. Otherwise, on the back, it's pretty much the same as the front. You just got that nice patterning and cable knitting right down there. So now that we've checked out all those details, let's try this sweater on to see how it feels and see how it fits. So this piece is absolutely crazy. I totally understand right off the bat that it ain't gonna be for everybody. I am totally on board with that, and I would not blame you if you think it looks dumb, it looks silly, whatever. But that's kind of Prada's thing. It's ugly chic, right? And whether this is just ugly or ugly chic to you is a question of taste. You may not think I have any, but that's a different story. Let's start off by talking about the feel of this thing. As we saw, it is majority mohair. That is what it feels like. It is thick, it's soft, it's warm. It's got some of that natural, you know, animal hair wool scratchiness to it, which, you know, your mileage will vary there, but it's not to the degree where I find it uncomfortable or anything. As for the fit, this piece is tagged to size 46, which generally translates to a small, and you know, I guess I can generally see it. It's actually a pretty weird fit. So it's almost, I'd almost call it cropped, but not quite. It just comes, it lands like right over my waistline, like my belt line of my pants, which I would say is a bit shorter than your average sweater. However, the body feels actually a bit oversized, both in the arms and the kind of chest area. I think it fits a little bit more like a medium than a small. So there's some really interesting stuff going on with the fit here. And you'll also notice, thanks to the shoulder pads, shoulder hair, whatever you want to call it, it almost looks like it has a dropped shoulder look, kind of like a Balenciaga vibe or something, but it's really more of an effect because of that red layer there. But I find that super interesting. As mentioned, we've also got a nice deep V going on there. Get a little bit of that manly chest hair action if you want to leave it bare underneath. Or, you know, cover that crap up, put on a shirt underneath, whatever floats your boat. But anyway, please let me know in the comments what you think of this piece. I am super curious to hear the reactions to this one because it's a Wild Boy. It is a Wild Boy starring Steve-O and Chris Pontius on MTV back in the day. That's how Wild Boy this Wild Boy is. So that is what a real Prada sweater looks like. Oh my god, what a piece. So take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.